Hi all, so we will be doing a summary on DNA replication. So if a question pops up in your paper, you need to explain the process in the below manner I'm explaining. So to start with, the DNA replication is a biological process of producing two identical replicas of DNA from one original DNA molecule. So the original DNA molecule here, we're going to address it as the mother DNA, while the new one we are going to address it as the daughter DNA strands. So to learn the replication process, it's very crucial that we know the structure. So DNA is made up of a double helix of two complementary strands. So as in the picture you can clearly see, so this is the double helix given here. You have two complementary strands here. So during the replication, first these two strands are separated from each other. You can clearly see that in the picture, two strands are separated from each other. Then each strand will act as a template. So here each strand will act as a template. These are the two mother strands and these are the two daughter strands. So it will act as a template. Or a building block for the production of daughter strands. So when the new strand is woven up together, when the new strand is done, it will be woven up like here. Okay, so it always there will be one mother strands interwoven with a one daughter strand. So this process is named as this is a semi-conservative process. Why? You will always be resulted of one mother strand interwoven with one daughter strand. So one new strand will be left with one old strand always. So in a cell, when you consider, the DNA replication begins at specific locations, which we will be naming as origin of replication. Later you will get to know that it produces also the replication fork here. Okay, so now in eukaryotes, what happens? You will have such several places in one given genome. So the unwinding of DNA at the origin of replication and the synthesis of new strands, this is facilitated by the enzyme helicase. So always there will be an enzyme known helicase which will be facilitating this particular action. So unwinding. So the DNA replication or the amplification, this can also be performed in a laboratory under controlled condition with the help of some material like DNA templates, primers, polymerases, etc. So the reaction is known as polymerase chain reaction or PCR. So we will be learning that later, how to do it in a controlled environment. Finally, so the DNA replication, like all other biological polymerization processes, happens in three steps, which are known as initiation, elongation, and termination. So to start with the first part of it, initiation. So in late mitosis, in the early G1 phase, a large complex of initiator proteins assembles into a pre-replication complex at particular points of the DNA fragment, a DNA molecule. So these places are known as origin. So later these places of origin will be forming the replication fork. In these places the replication is going to start. So the recognizable DNA sequence for these proteins, I mean the pre-replication complex forming initiator proteins, are rich in AT. AT means adenine and thymine. Why the particular proteins, they select this particular place? Between A and T you only have two hydrogen bonds, so they are rather than breaking three bonds between C and G, it will be easier. Thus the separation of two strands will be easily done with lesser energy. So helicase is the protein will be separating the DNA helix at the replication fork. So then in the early S phase, assembly of pre-initiation complex, a massive protein complex formed at the origin of replication, uh, just after the pre-replication complex. This is the pre-initiation complex. So this inactivates the pre-replication complex and loads RNA primase. So it's going to load RNA primase. Okay, here RNA primase, a massive RNA primase and other DNA polymerases onto the DNA. This is to start the initiation process. Now the primase synthesizes the first primers. The primer template junction interacts and facilitates elongation. So here in the picture you can clearly see how it happens here. So, right. So also remember about topoisomerase. So topoisomerase given as a green coloring here. So topoisomerase, what it does is, so this actually prevents overwinding or underwinding of DNA strands. It kind of holds the DNA still until the replication process finishes. To understand this easily, the function of topoisomerase, we'll say that you have 10 centimeter long DNA strand originally which had 5 rings in the helix. So the isomerase enzyme will make sure when the new strands being formed, just to keep the exact number of rings along 10 centimeters, 5 rings without going for 4 or 6. So I hope you can understand what topoisomerase does there. So that is the end of the process of initiation. So then comes the elongation. So during the elongation, what happens? DNA polymerases, as you can see here. So I have given you one polymerase here. Okay, and then another one here. So there are two polymerase molecules being attached to the particular two fragments being read through the strands. So this reading will be always happening from 3' end to 5' end. So reading in the sense, now you have this polymerase. Now here you have the 3' end and here you have the 5' end. So the reading will be happening this manner. Okay, reading will be happening this manner. So 3' end to 5' end. And the other thing you need to remember, all the new nucleotides will be added into the 3' end always. So it will be added into the 3' end. However, when you consider the growth of the new strand, since you have 3' here, anyway, the daughter strand should be growing from 5' to 3' always. Okay, so whatever the bases you are adding into the 3' end, with the time it will go towards 5'. So your strand is growing from 5' end to 3'. So once the two strands are separated, primase adds RNA primers to the template strands. The leading strand receives one RNA primer, while the lagging strand will be receiving several, since it will be made in small fragments. The leading strand is, now you can see the leading strand here. This one is the leading strand. This one is the lagging strand. So in the leading strand, you're going to see only one RNA primer being added here. But in other one, lagging strand, you're going to see it added in several places. So the leading strand is continuously extended from the primer by a DNA polymerase with high rate from 5' end to 3', while the lagging strand is extended discontinuously from each primer, forming Okazaki fragments. Later, enzymatic cleaving will be helping in replacing the primer RNA fragments with DNA. So DNA polymerase, other than polymerase 3, will be entering into these gaps and it will be filled. Then finally, ligase enzyme will work to fill these marks of repair. When you repair something, it will keep a mark. So what ligase does is it actually covers all these repair marks in the newly replicated DNA molecule. So keep your attention on the replication fork. So you should be able to describe what a replication fork. So always the leading strand will be produced towards the replication fork. It will grow towards the replication fork, while the lagging strand is not growing as such. So So the final part of it is the termination. So eukaryotes initiate DNA replication at multiple points in the chromosome. So replication forks will be meeting and terminating at many points in the chromosome. Since eukaryotes are having linear chromosomes, DNA replication is actually unable to reach the very end of the chromosome. So, due to this problem, DNA is lost in each replication cycle from the end of the chromosome. So, this loss can be a problem sometimes. In order to get rid of that problem, genetically, our DNA are having regions called telomeres. So, these are repetitive DNA fragments close to the end part of each DNA molecule, which will be helping in preventing loss of gene due to this shortening. This shortens the telomeres of daughter DNA chromosomes. However, it does not have a functional problem in the daughter DNA. So, as a result, cells can only divide a certain number of times before the DNA loss prevents further division. And finally, the termination requires that the progress of DNA replication fork must stop or to be blocked. So termination at a specific locus means a specific DNA sequence. So when it occurs, involves in the interaction between two components. The first one is a termination site sequence in the DNA. So similar to that AT sequence what we had in the replication fork, where the initiator complex being formed. Similarly, in the ending part also you will be having a particular sequence, and then there should be a particular protein which should be binding into this particular sequence in order to stop the formation of replication fork. So in various bacterial species, eukaryotes, we have different types of proteins. You can remember one example for replication terminus site binding protein as TER protein. This is found in bacteria. So I hope that you have now you have an idea about this particular replication process. So thank you.